We cut the living hell out of this body. We got it stripped. We also got it widened 9 inches.
That's quite big.
Listen, everything is going great and I totally have not ruined this car.
Stop the cap. Stop the cap right now. Stop the cap.
Hopefully. We are in the $350 range. What's up, it is Casey from Caseyscustoms. I am doing another under $1,000 build. This time I'm doing a 1966 Ford Mustang on a 2005 BMW chassis. I had to widen the body by cutting it right down the middle. It's been a train wreck. Let's get to the footage. We are back on the under $1,000 1966 Mustang build. In the last video, we cut the living hell out of this body. We got it stripped. We also got it widened 9 inches. I think I might need to remeasure that because I don't remember exactly why we did that. We widened that body so that it would fit on our modern BMW chassis a little bit easier. Sorry, my kid spray painted an Among Us on it. He's 8, whatever. Anyways, we basically got it widened enough so that it would slip over the BMW chassis a lot easier, and we wouldn't have to come in here and just basically chop the living hell out of this dash. I wanted to keep all this dash together. When I did my last Mustang chassis swap, the 65, 66 Mustangs are really narrow, and I just had to cut way in here. It was so much more work than it needed to be. This one, we're going to do it on a budget, a little bit cheaper, a little bit rougher around the edges. Not a rat rod, but kind of rat roddy. So we're going to widen the body instead. But with that being said, we still need to do some more cutting on this. Obviously, we don't want to have just an open quarter panel going into another quarter panel. So we need to cut all of this back in here to our structure so that we can tie in the BMW structure to the Ford. And I don't know how much I need to cut out of the rockers, but most likely we're going to come in here, probably somewhere right in there, and cut all that too. So we're going to take some measurements and then we're going to fire up the Sawzall. All right, so it looks like our rocker is right at about 66 inches, which is not too bad at all. Let's see what our firewall is, where the dash is going to be. This is going to be a lot narrower. That scared the shit out of me. This is 63-ish. Ruh-roh. Tell me we didn't go enough. I'm going to be pissed. Oh, we did plenty. Okay, good. Good. Might be a little bit more. Okay. So I'm going to probably just need to shave this down barely. And then what was it back here? 66. Same thing back here. So what I'm going to do, we got to cut that strut out. Basically just going to cut right in there and go all the way back. And we should be good. So not too bad. We just basically got to peel the sheet metal off. If it was wide enough, you can go rocker to rocker, but you definitely don't want a quarter panel in there. So we need to cut that anyway. So let's cut some shit, baby. So we got some good news, got some bad news. Good news, I got the rear of the car basically cut down, ready for the Mustang. I think I'm gonna have to probably bob this some, but we can get to that whenever we're getting the body on top. Bad news, I was running a Sawzall blade right here, and it started wandering down, and I was like, well, that's okay, there's nothing there. Well, there was something there. Son of a bitch. I was so careful too. I had this wiring tucked out of the way. It was held over here, but I didn't realize there was another wiring thing on top. It was hidden behind this, and I cut right through it. So now we got about, I don't know, 25 wires we're gonna have to put back together, which is not the end of the world, but you never really wanna do that. And if that does ever happen on accident, or you're just a dummy like I am, what you wanna do is make sure under no circumstances do you plug the battery in, because you can start frying all kinds of shit with that being cut. You need to make sure we go through. We're going to solder all those back together before we plug our battery back in, but I'm not doing that right now. I'm going to continue cutting and pray we don't hit anything else. We should be okay. Like I said, it was kind of a freak accident, but shit happens. No big deal. The back was the hard part. This all up here should be a lot easier, but I don't know. Let's see what happens. All right, we got the rest of it cut. I've measured it a couple times. We should be good. The only thing I'm worried about is how tall this section is compared to how tall it is on the Mustang. That is a really high package tray. And I don't really know how much shorter I can make it because those are my strut towers right there. I don't know, let's see what we can do. But this might be one of those ones where the body sits up high and then we're gonna have to do a bunch of suspension drop. I usually like to do a channel where the body is lower, than the stock body. I don't know if we're going to be able to pull it off on this one. It took a couple hours in between getting everything cut and then coming back into the shop. And I'm gotten all excited. I was like, my measures are looking good. I think we're going to be okay. We can at least get the body on. We might have to trim some stuff to get it lower because if you know anything about this shop, we lay everything on the ground. Then I remembered, oh yeah, I need to chill out and not do any of that because my dumbass cut through all those wires over there. So I went and got my solder and shit from my other shop, and we're gonna spend some time cleaning this up before we get the body on top. Technically I could do it with the body on top because I have plenty of room back here with the trunk off, but I'd rather just do it now to be, better be safe than sorry. So let's wire some shit. I am very annoyed that I did that. This was a giant pain in the ass. Holy crap. I'm done. That ended up taking like an hour and a half. While I was doing that, I was looking at a couple things. I'm going to trim this down, and then the same thing on the other side. Then, we're putting the body on. Holy crap. And we are making sure we are not cutting any more damn wires. Great news, we got her all cut, ready for the Mustang body. It's a little bit tighter up around the dash than I want it to be, but we're gonna figure that out whenever we get the body in. Naturally, it is the middle of the night because I've been working 20 hours a day lately, but we're building some pretty damn cool shit, so it's worth it. So I got my lights out. We are gonna make this short and sweet because I don't really like filming outside because you obviously can't see very much. The good news is all we gotta do is lift this body up, get on the BMW, then we can get it inside, and then we can kind of, make everything fit a little bit better whenever it's inside. So, let's lift her up. Check it out. We got the body sitting on the BMW chassis, and it looks great. It does not look great. It looks really bad. But it's 3 in the morning and I'm tired, so we're going to call it a night. I'm going to think on it. It fits like absolute shit. We kind of knew that going in, which is okay. But we are definitely going to have to do some more cutting in the rear section. We also have to do some cutting on the inner wheel wells of the Mustang. I thought I had all that cut out. The thing I'm really not happy about is cowl area is basically cut out quite a bit already. And look how high it is. That's like 8 inches from one rocker to the other. So we're going to do some stuff tomorrow. We'll figure it out. This is a budget build. So if it was one of my non-budget builds, we'd probably just airbag it and get this down and kind of figure stuff out. We can't really do that, so we're going to have to figure something out. Like I said, I'm going to sleep on it, come up with an idea, but I remember running into this on the last Mustang. They're just so narrow compared to modern cars. I'm going to have a plan by the next time I start filming, though, hopefully. All right, I have had a day to think about it, and what I'm going to do before I get ahead of myself and start trying to decide how to build a super tall Mustang. We're going to cut the living shit out of everything. We have a ton of room we can do to go down. I can cut shit out of not only the Mustang body, but out of the BMW as well. This dash pad can be cut, and then all this can be sunk in. So I can lose 2 to 3 inches by cutting that. I can lose probably 2 to 3 inches by cutting the dash. I've already started to mark it where I'm going to cut it. So got a little too ahead of myself. I was not happy with how tall it was and how bad it was fitting, but they all always fit this bad. It's just what you got to deal with. If you come back here, there is a ton of stuff we can do to get this down. Well, I can also raise that package tray. I can cut all that. I can cut all of this way down here to the strut tower, make my own cross member lower so we can cut that rear seat down a bunch. We need to cut the inner fenders of the Mustang. I would like to cut as little possible on the BMW because the BMW is our strength now and the rusty body is not. So I'm going to come in here and cut all that out. So what we need to do basically is get the body back off, cut the living shit out of both of these cars again, and then try and put it back on there, and we'll see how it fits and kind of go from there. So let's stop whining and fire up Sawzall. Now we can really cut some shit. Okay, I've spent the last 2 hours. I have cut every single thing that I can on the BMW and on the Mustang. Well, I have 2 more cuts on the Mustang, but that's easy. I've shaved every single thing down. Like, even if it took an extra 20 minutes to get another ½ inch, I have. So I know whenever this body goes back on this chassis, it is 100% as low as I can get it without doing something crazy, and I don't know what we can do other than what we were already doing. I got the Mustang all cut as well. Oh, also, this cross brace I made is working perfect. I cut out all the structure around these strut towers. Nothing moved even a ½ inch, which is great. Sometimes when you cut structure out, something can jump on you after you make the cut. None of that happened, so I know that our bracing is doing perfect. Everything is cut on the Mustang other than 2 little cuts up here, and I can't get to them with the body up. So instead of dropping the body down, making the cut, and then having to pick it back up, I'm going to start to get it on the BMW chassis, cut the rear out, and then we'll let it down the rest of the way. I'm a little nervous because I can't do anything else to get this body lower, so pretty much wherever it's going to be here as soon as I drop it is where it's going to be. So let's find out together. Okay, check it out. We got the body on there. Actually not too bad as far as how low I got it. I can work with that. It's basically to the bottom of the rocker panel. The only problem is our width is perfect up here. As you can see, we have a fender, bolts. We're all pretty good there. It is way too wide in the rear. If you look at it, look how much room we have. Which normally I wouldn't care, but I'd end up having to run like a 2-foot wide rear tire. So what I'm gonna do, I gotta cut some more on the BMW rocker. The good news is I can do it here. I shouldn't have to pull the body off, knock on wood. Oh, there we go. Knock on wood, I shouldn't have to pull the body off. But if I cut more of this rocker, this will sit in, because if you look down the side of it, right now my quarter panels are like that. They need to be square. But what I think I'm gonna do, whenever I get that cut out, is we are going to cut off our rear bracing, and basically we're going to V the body a little bit because it tapers anyway from stock. I have my 8 inches up front, and it's going to taper back to, you know, maybe only 2 inches wider in the rear, and that will help us clean all of this up. Who knows? We might even bring it all the way back to 0, so it'll be 8 inches in the front and then 0 in the rear, because that is a little ridiculous, if I do say so myself. I kind of love it. It looks crazy, but it looks so crazy that it's not going to work. I want it to be wild. I want it to be loud. I want it to be kind of fun, but you start doing that shit, it looks cartoony, and it's never going to look right. So we got to cut our rockers in a bunch before we do anything. So let's do that first. Cut everything loose. We should be able to bring in this back section I am running out of time to get this video out, so we are going to try and work a little faster. Ooh, there she goes. There she goes. Oh, shit. We went in too much. Oh, no, I didn't go in too much. I went too much of that way. I got to cut this. That looks crazy right now, but don't worry. Listen, everything is going great, and I totally have not ruined this car. Hopefully. Damn! Ooh, that ratchet strap falling was bad. Check it out. I actually have this exactly where I want it. I know it looks freaking crazy, but we have essentially moved in how much we have widened the front, close to about 6 inches now, and basically my body is perfect. Fender will go on here. We'll probably have to modify the front of the fender, but we're not going to tackle that in this video. I'm going to try and throw a fender up there maybe tomorrow. I do not have a ton of time left to work on this before I got to get the video to Richard, my video editor, but check it out. I have actually pulled the rear in almost exactly where it was from stock. So that should make my trunk area going back together a lot easier. And you can see now how we have our V. So that's like 6 inches up front down to about 1 in the back, which, you know, it actually kind of crowned out okay. It still needs some shape in it because I haven't welded anything. I haven't done any of that. Tomorrow I want to come in here, just put a couple little tack welds on it so nothing moves on me, because right now it's held together with jack stands and vice clamps, but I'm tired as shit. So tomorrow we're gonna come in and work just a little bit. I don't have a ton of time, kind of get some stuff put back together, but I'm actually so happy. I know it looks crazy to some people, but check this out. See where our wheel is now? I mean, that looks so much more natural. We're obviously gonna change some wheels and stuff, but that is pretty damn good right there. I still have to cut a little bit in on my quarter because you can see it's just a little bit out, but it's a hell of a lot closer than it was. So, and some of this just needs pushed in. See, it just needs a little bit of, you know, how you doing, but we'll deal with that tomorrow. I am very happy. It's actually looking like a Mustang finally. Oh, also, we're going to add up our budget and everything on this one because this is our under $1,000 project we're doing right now. And obviously you're looking at this going, well, this is just 1,000,000 hours of work or $1 million. No, you just, what you do is you trade your labor for money, essentially. I'm going to have to end up doing a bunch of sheet metal work and stuff, but I think we're going to be fine. I'm pretty sure where I'm at right now is a running and driving car. Obviously, it's not great of a car. I think I'm only like $400, so we got a lot of room to play with, but we'll add it up tomorrow and figure it out. So, cool. All right, I'm going to bed. Check it out. I spent a little bit of time today kind of just jacking the body up. It's still just clamped and, you know, strapped and whatnot, but it's looking pretty damn good, to be honest with you. We got our roof looking real nice as well. What I'm going to do is start welding in some support so it doesn't move, because obviously I don't want to have to leave a C-clamp on there forever. So not going crazy, not making anything super solid yet. I just want it to hold together. And honestly, I don't get too discouraged on projects because you can always weld metal back. You don't have to be worried about metal. You can always weld it back. But even with that being said, like 2 days ago, whenever I put the Mustang body on top of the BMW, and it was literally a foot higher than the rear wheel, I was starting to have doubts. I was going, man, I don't know, we might have messed up. But very, very happy where we are now. We ended up tapering it back. Now, some people would think that that looks crazy because we have it so wide in the front, but the Mustang naturally does that anyway. So as you can see, it wasn't nearly as crazy as you think. So we essentially have just stretched our cowl mostly, and then the rest of it is going to be okay. Now, we're going to have to end up making that up with our fenders because our fenders are going to want to be way out here now. So we're going to have to do some fun stuff with the fenders, but we're going to figure that out in a little bit. For now, I'm going to get all this tacked together so nothing moves, because right now I could kick this thing and it'd basically fall over. So let's weld some shit. We definitely need to adjust our fender fitment. That's not the best, but it's actually looking like a car. Body is on. I realize this front fender looks horrible, but we're going to deal with that in the next episode. I actually needed to get this footage to Richard yesterday, so we're running a little bit behind. That's okay. I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to just pull this thing in, keep hitting it real hard, and my Tuesday video will be on this too, and we'll get the front end kind of put together, but I have to get this done to him right now. But actually very, very happy with it. I know that looks crazy, but don't worry. The fender's by far the easiest thing to do. The body is a lot trickier. This is all bolted in. We actually have struts welded in, so nothing is like clamped. It's actually sitting on its own body. I really just need to do a couple grounds. I'm gonna do those in the next video as well. Once this stuff's all regrounded, I should be able to fire it back up. So that's my goal for the next video as well, is to drive it. But one cool thing, since we have it so wide in the front, I have so much room in here. The other one that I did, the 65 that I did, it's a little cramped. I'm not gonna lie to you. You know, you're kind of like leaning out half the way out the window when you get in it. This one is still just the BMW essentially. So I got hella room on the inside. Cool. I mean, I'm going to make Richard put it side by side to where it was the other day. I was really discouraged, but man, she looks good. It's actually starting to look, you got to squint a little bit. Just kind of squint, you know, like that, but you can kind of see the Mustang part when you do that. Awesome. Damn it, I cannot find my dry erase marker anywhere, but this is what our total was on 8/12. It's currently 9/12 now, and I ended up selling the trunk from the BMW for 50 bucks. We have added another $82 to scrap, and then probably got another 20 here. Well, maybe not that much, maybe 15 more here, but we'll find out whenever that goes to the scrap sometime next week. But just rough estimate, 80 and 50 is 130, so we are in the $350 range. That is absolutely amazing. Granted, we have a lot of stuff to do. I don't do any freebies on these budget builds. I count everything. So an $80 piece of sheet metal or whatever it is, that will go on the list whenever it gets on the car. So we need the room, but I mean, to be in that for 350 bucks is pretty freaking awesome. I realized I didn't get any footage from the front, but check it out. So happy. I mean, anytime you cut a body down the middle, it gets hectic real fast. And even though we've kind of pinched our hood back a lot closer than it was, we still have a full 8 inches here in the cowl. So we're going to have to make up for that. But if you look down the side, you would think, being so much wider in the front, you would think we'd have a, you know, crazy angle. We actually don't. That's because the Mustangs naturally taper a little bit, and luckily the BMW kind of has a rear taper as well. The front end track width on both of these cars is like 2 inches wider than the rear, so it kind of actually works a little bit. It's not perfect by any means, but we're gonna make it work. But I'm stoked. I'm so stoked. I was really worried like 2 days ago. I was like, oh, we might have messed it up. I don't think I've ever done a build where I gave up on it. I've always been able to pull it off, but there's been some times where you just start looking at the parts on the ground and you go, holy shit, man. So stay tuned for all this. Start cutting our fenders up, getting our front end fit. I also would like to drive it. Still waiting on parts for the CRX, but did just get my wheels. And these should have a lot better offset on them, so we'll be able to get them on there. My tires are still coming. But whenever we get the tires and the wheels on there, we're going to be able to finish up our frame, finish up our motor placement, all kinds of stuff like that. So stay tuned for all that. We got a bunch of cool projects going on. Still have baby 67 Impala. Still have 69 Blazer. Goddamn, I forgot what it was for a minute. So button up the Monte Carlo right now. I'm going to have the final finishing video on that coming up. So stay tuned. We got a bunch of cool stuff going on. Please hit that subscribe button. It helps the channel out a lot more than you would ever imagine. For the coolest merchandise on the planet, go to Caseyscustoms.com. Thank you very much for watching. Please like, share, comment, all the good stuff I say at the end of videos. Check out some more of my other videos. Peace. I love you.